Manhunt is underway in Volusia County after a Daytona Beach police officer was shot in the head overnight. The U.S. Marshals have now joined the more than 500 officers combing that area.
The 26-year-old officer, who has not yet been named, is in the hospital in critical condition. The 3-year veteran had surgery last night, and the Daytona Beach police chief says he is improving, but, quote, still has a long way to go. Right now, hundreds of officers are searching Volusia County as well as the rest of the Florida area for this man, Othel Wallace. Look at his car, the tag right there. That's a California license plate. Investigators say Wallace shot the officer while he was on patrol, and the officer stopped for a suspicious vehicle. Wallace is believed to be driving a gray 2016 Honda HR-V. That's a small SUV. The California license plate number is 7TNX532.
Actually, surprisingly, not this morning, because this shooting happened late last night and they executed a search warrant today. So we haven't really seen any officers in this area, but investigators say they are following several leads this morning, still looking for 29-year-old Othel Wallace, who is believed to be at one point had been seen in Deltona. But let's give you a live look here on Kingston Avenue in Daytona Beach. This is the apartment complex where the shooting took place. It actually happened on the backside of this complex. Investigators say they found 3 ballistic vests, multiple high-capacity magazines, firearms, rifles, semi-automatic handgun, and boxes of ammunition. And this is where officers searched the home where Wallace's family lives. Now, the police department released this body camera footage showing Wallace standing up and getting out of his car. In the video, you can hear the officer repeatedly telling him to sit back down. You can then hear Wallace say, "Come on now, don't do this." There is a struggle, and a shot is fired, and we're stopping the video there. This is a photo of Wallace, who is said to have shot the officer. The chief of police is asking the community to pray for him.
This cop is 26 years old. 26 years old, behind me, fighting for his life. Most of us are just starting to live at 26 years old. We are completely heartbroken by what took place. I'm extremely heartbroken, especially because this particular cop, knowing him, if he were to pull through this cop would do everything in his power to get back on the job.
I just heard a gunshot, and then I seen a million police come from all over the place. They held the street up. I couldn't even get to work because they wouldn't let nobody in, nobody out. This is Daytona Beach. There's always something going on.
While it's dangerous, police say there is a $100,000 reward for a tip that leads to his arrest.
There is right now a $100,000 reward offered for his arrest.
That contribution brings the total reward now to $200,000 for information leading to an arrest. The search for Wallace stretches across the state and across state lines. A be on the lookout or BOLO alert is still in effect.
You know what? We have asked Atlanta police, and they are keeping very tight-lipped about even where they're looking in the city tonight. A black militia group that Wallace used to be a member of, that is based here in Atlanta, is responding to an investigation. Atlanta police spent a second day on Friday combing the city for any sign of Othel Wallace, the 29-year-old wanted for the shooting of a Daytona Beach police officer, Jason Rayner, on Wednesday night. News 6 first reported on Thursday that Wallace, also known as Ozone, had been a member of an armed black militia group called the NFAC, headquartered in Atlanta, something Daytona Beach police acknowledged this afternoon.
We've been getting a lot of people giving us tips about Mr. Wallace and his background. I want to let you all know, we know about it.
News 6 investigated what unites NFAC members, and we found out its members across the nation are armed. They protest racial inequity and police brutality, and they demand police transparency. After our investigation into Wallace's involvement aired on Thursday, the NFAC responded, saying they kicked Wallace out of the organization in January. In a statement, a spokesperson told us the NFAC is a strong, law-abiding organization that does not espouse anti-Semitic, left, or right-wing views.
He's a great father. He's a great guy in the community. I mean, this has never happened before.
Brandon Oliver says he is one of Wallace's good friends. He believes there is more to this story, and he's demanding to know what led to police approaching Wallace on Wednesday.
They want him dead, but nobody wants to hear his story. Everybody thinks he's a bad guy. You know, he's a criminal and this and that. Nobody knows. They just know he shot a police officer and he's wrong. But you got to look at the first picture. Why was the police officer even bothering him from the first place?
And I'm thrilled to announce that this search warrant has resulted in the arrest of Othel Wallace.
It turns out police look to have been accurate earlier this week when telling us investigators believed Wallace could be in the Atlanta area. At 2:30 this morning, the chief says it was in a neighboring Georgia county where the FBI, U.S. Marshals, Homeland Security, and Georgia law enforcement finally found the fugitive hiding in a treehouse. Chief Jakari Young says in that treehouse, Wallace had handguns and rifles with boxes of ammo, flash grenades, and body armor.
The property is affiliated with an organization called they call themselves the Not Effing Around Coalition, or just simply known as the NFAC, which is a black nationalist paramilitary organization.
Police say 4 other people were found on the property, and they tracked Wallace there based on surveillance and technology.
What's going on? Sit down. Sit.
It was body camera video Wednesday night, police say, captured Wallace shooting Officer Jason Rayner in the head, as Rayner, according to the chief, confronted Wallace in the Kingston Avenue parking lot because he thought his car looked suspicious. After Wallace drove off, the reward for information leading to his capture reached $200,000.
We were flooded with tips around the clock. They didn't stop.
And when Officer Rayner's own handcuffs were placed on Wallace, Chief Young says Wallace said this.
What he said was, "You guys know who I am. You know what I'm capable of, and it could have been a lot worse."
Well, Joe, the 29-year-old suspect is in the DeKalb County Jail behind me this morning after being arrested around 2:30 a.m. We'll show you 29-year-old Othel Wallace here. The 56-hour manhunt is now over. Federal and local law enforcement tracked him this morning to a 3-acre piece of property here in DeKalb County with, quote, 2 structures, a trailer, and a treehouse on it. Wallace was found in the treehouse on the property with several guns, body armor, a large amount of ammo, according to Daytona Beach Police. In a press conference this morning, Daytona Beach Police said the land is owned by a local black nationalist organization, and Daytona Beach's chief said Wallace, when arrested, gave officers this statement.
What he said was, "You guys know who I am. You know what I'm capable of, and it could have been a lot worse." That was his statement.
And earlier this week, Daytona Beach Police confirmed they believed Wallace could be in the Atlanta area. Daytona Beach Police tell NBC News Wallace is suspected of shooting 26-year-old police officer Jason Rayner in the head earlier this week, and he now remains in the hospital recovering. Rayner was investigating a, quote, suspicious vehicle when he encountered Wallace earlier this week.
The man at the center of a multi-state manhunt, who police say is recorded on body camera footage shooting a Daytona Beach police officer in the head earlier this week, is finally captured tonight. This new mugshot shows Othel Wallace after law enforcement took him into custody early this morning in Georgia. Now, as you heard, the focus shifts to the officer's recovery. Push alerts from our News 6 app early this morning. Authorities from several agencies were involved in the manhunt and capture, including the FBI. Here's a picture police sent to us of Wallace just after the arrest near Atlanta this morning. Authorities say he was hiding out in a treehouse with a stash of guns and ammo. Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood tweeted this photo of the arresting officers using Jason Rayner's handcuffs on Wallace.
At 2:30 this morning, the chief says it was in a neighboring Georgia county where the FBI, U.S. Marshals, Homeland Security, and Georgia law enforcement finally found the fugitive hiding in a treehouse. Chief Jakari Young says in that treehouse, Wallace had handguns and rifles with boxes of ammo, flash grenades, and body armor.
The property is affiliated with an organization called they call themselves the Not Effing Around Coalition, or just simply known as the NFAC, which is a black nationalist paramilitary organization.
Police say 4 other people were found on the property, and they tracked Wallace there based on surveillance and technology.
What's going on? Sit down. Sit.
It was body camera video Wednesday night, police say, captured Wallace shooting Officer Jason Rayner in the head, as Rayner, according to the chief, confronted Wallace in the Kingston Avenue parking lot because he thought his car looked suspicious. After Wallace drove off, the reward for information leading to his capture reached $200,000.
We were flooded with tips around the clock. They didn't stop.
And when Officer Rayner's own handcuffs were placed on Wallace, Chief Young says Wallace said this.
What he said was, "You guys know who I am, you know what I'm capable of, and it could have been a lot worse." That was his statement.
Chief Young says Wallace will be extradited to Daytona Beach and he will face a charge of first-degree attempted murder on a police officer. In Daytona Beach, Volusia County, I'm James Sparvero, getting Results News 6.
The sister of the injured officer sent us this picture of Officer Jason Rayner yesterday. Before that, we did not broadcast any pictures of the officer at the request of his family and the police department. Officer Rayner has been with the PD for 3 years, and tonight police say he made slight improvements but is still in critical condition. News 6's Brian Didlake is outside Halifax Medical Center in Volusia County with more on the officer. Brian.
Eric, we spoke with many people who are praying for a speedy recovery for Officer Jason Rayner, who is still fighting for his life here at Halifax Health in Daytona Beach. Now, after we did get a chance to get an update from police on Rayner, who says that things may be looking up.
So as of right now, his outlook is it is improving. It's a positive one. But we're just going to continue to pray that he continues to heal.
Hopeful words from Daytona Beach Police Chief Jakari Young, as he says his department will now be focusing on supporting Officer Jason Rayner and his family after the arrest of 29-year-old Otha Wallace.
He still has a ways to go, but basically from his condition right now, they feel comfortable moving forward with more testing because they've determined that he's now strong enough to endure more testing.
Community members News 6 spoke to say they feel a bit safer with Wallace detained and send their prayers for a speedy recovery as others look for more answers.
I'm glad they caught him because he can't hurt anybody else.
My thoughts go out for the family. It's always good to know that a person that's done a crime has been caught.
I think you should find out the facts, what caused the whole altercation. You know, because we don't really know the whole story.
Rayner's family did speak with police once Wallace was arrested and say they can now focus on their loved one even more.
Well, I woke them up to tell them the news, so as you can imagine, there was a huge sigh of relief, and I'm hoping they can get a few hours of sleep now finally, and now they can just solely focus on Officer Rayner and his recovery.
While Officer Rayner recovers, the department says members tasked on finding Wallace will be getting some much-needed rest after being on a constant go. Now, a GoFundMe has been set up for the family.